Another cold one here at Red Hill today. We've been fortunate to have some really crisp winter flying days just recently, and I've been trying to make the most of it. Lots of ice on the ground and on the aeroplane today, so we're here nice and early at sunrise to get everything organised for our flight. Today we're going to be flying about 1 hour down to Dunkeswell, which I think I'm right in saying is in Devon in the southwest of England. And one thing to note about Dunkeswell is it is the highest licensed aerodrome in the UK. We're not talking Mount Everest high, we're only talking about 830 feet high. And that's not the only interesting thing about it. We're going to fly down, show you how to get into Dunkeswell, and show you all about the airfield and what it has to offer. Okay, so the GoPros are so cold that the displays have shut down. Just to add to my woes today. Clear prop! Let's see how she goes. Everything takes so much longer in winter, and expect your preparation time to double. Our bodies go slower, equipment stops working, and an aeroplane that usually starts on the button takes 4 goes. Even the GNS 430 is going slow today. So it's going to take a little while to warm the engine up. Whilst I do that, we can talk about the route, because it's going to be a busy old day today. So as you can see here, we're departing Red Hill. We'll route out on the westerly runway, which will be a right turn via Buckland. I've got Dorky in here. We'll then head southwest towards the Farnborough CTA, dogleg to the south to avoid the danger area and the high intensity radio transmission area, and then we'll route over Southampton's controlled airspace, all being well. If we can't do that, we'll go around to the north of it, and then all the way west. It's something like 70-mile leg all the way to Dunkeswell. So as I mentioned earlier, Dunkeswell is the highest licensed airfield in the UK, 839 feet high. We can also see that there's a gliding site right within the ATZ to the west. We're going to have our eyes on stalks for that, and there's a parachuting symbol which we'll talk about a bit later on. Problem on the ground, we'll close the throttle, apply the brakes, come to a stop. If we've taken off, we'll close the throttle, push forward, land back if we can. If we can't land back, 97 is the glide. Closing the throttle, shutdown is going to be mixture master fuel. Golf India Victor, Bravo 2, ready for departure.
Golf India Victor, hold Bravo 2 after departure, standard Buckland departure, not above altitude 1,400 feet.
Hold position after departure, Buckland departure, not above altitude 1,400 feet. Golf Bravo Mike India Victor.
Golf India Victor, line up runway 24.
Line up 24, Golf India Victor. Still can't feel my toes, and we're going to rotate at 60.
Golf India Victor, runway 24, circling calm, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 24, Golf India Victor. Power is set, we've got good power developing, T's and P's are in the green, airspeed is increasing, looking for 60 knots. 60 we have, and we're up. Tap the brakes, gear up. Gear is up. T's and P's are good. Coming back on the throttle. 200 to go. We've got flaps up, gear is up, auto gear enabled. Beautiful day. You can probably see the fluid being blown off the wing as I climb out, and I anticipate some of you will be wondering what de-icing fluid I use. The fluid that you use will depend on the minimum rotation speed of your aircraft. For most aircraft like mine, you'll need to use Type 1 red or orange fluid. It's very effective at de-icing the aircraft, but it doesn't give much holdover time after application. I applied loads of it today, and I also warmed it up before spraying it on. I gave it a final blast just before startup, and that only gives me between 6 and 11 minutes of protection before any moisture will start to freeze again. I'm pleased to see that my efforts were completely effective today. Golf India Victor, Buckland, request frequency change, Farnborough radar 125.250.
Golf India Victor, score cost security, Vertigo Covers.
Score cost security, goodbye Golf India Victor. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward the video now, and you'll rejoin me as I call up Solent radar for a transit. If you want to see the entire flight and some bonus tidbits as I fly along this part of the route, then the full unedited video is showing now on my Supporters Club channel. There's a small monthly fee to join, and there's a new benefit to the Supporters Club that has just begun. Members of the Supporters Club can get an enhanced discount off Pooley's products, so another benefit of being a member of the club. So yeah, we'll fast forward and you'll rejoin me in the cockpit when we reach the edge of Solent's controlled airspace. Solent radar, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, request zone transit.
Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, Solent radar, hello, squawk 3661, the Solent QNH is 1011, pass your message.
Squawk 3661, QNH 1011. Good morning, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, PA28 Arrow, Red Hill to Dunkeswell, 2 miles east of Petersfield, altitude 2,500 feet. VFR, request zone transit, Bishops, Waltham, Sierra Alpha Mike, M27 junction 2, and a basic service outside.
Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, identified basic service outside, clear to transit Solent controlled airspace, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR on your requested track.
Roger, cleared to transit Solent controlled airspace, VFR not above altitude 3,000 feet on the requested track, basic service, Golf Bravo Mike India Victor.
Golf India Victor, read back correct.
So there we are, we just got our transit there, a nice friendly controller on Southampton. They've got a bit of a reputation for not helping VFR pilots. I think it's a little undeserved. Basically, you know, I've never had a problem getting a transit through Southampton. Sometimes I might have had to change my level. What they won't do is give you a lower airspace radar service. So if you're not coming into their airspace, they don't want to give you a service. And they'll refer you on to Bournemouth or Farnborough or their listening squawk. So just something to be mindful of, but generally very helpful. So how do you get on with controlled airspace if you go flying? Are you the kind of person that likes to make use of it? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the airspace is ours to use. You know, Southampton, is it right to say Southampton don't own it? I think it's perhaps more fairer to say that there should be equitable access to it. But are you somebody that avoids it, you know, because you don't like the hassle or you don't like the RT? Let me know how you get on with controlled airspace. Are you a frequent user of it? Do you know, people often say to me, oh, why did you go through controlled airspace? You know, all that hassle that you had to go through. Actually, what I like about controlled airspace most of all is that it's a known environment. Everyone that's in it is going to be on the frequency. You're going to get traffic information passed in the zone. And that's one of the reasons I quite like it, especially around Southend, where the airspace is busy in the funnels around controlled airspace.
Golf India Victor, just entering controlled airspace, radar control.
Radar control, Golf India Victor.
I passed through Southampton's control zone effortlessly and eventually was handed over to Bournemouth once I'd left the airspace, and then Yeovil radar.
So now we've left controlled airspace, it's probably a good time to have a look at the arrival for Dunkeswell, and we'll call up the Pooley's plate for Dunkeswell, which has got all the information on it that we need. As you can see, there are 2 runway strips there. The licensed one is runway 22 and 04, runway 17 and 35 is unlicensed. I'm expecting them to be on runway 22 today. The wind is from the southwest, and as you can see, it's just under 1,000 metres long. We can see from the Pooley's plate that circuits are at 800 feet above the airfield. We've got to remember that the airfield is at 839 feet, so that's about 1,600 feet altitude on the circuit altitude. Left hand on runway 22, and it says here no overhead joins, aircraft no long final joins. Traffic is asked to join downwind or base legs. So looking at the route I'm coming in today, I'm going to try and plan for a left base join for runway 22, and we shall see how that works out. So I mentioned parachuting, and basically what that means at Dunkeswell, fixed wing traffic continues as if nothing has changed, pretty much. As long as you join the circuit as they ask you to, downwind or base, and as long as when you go around you don't move to the dead side, you fly straight ahead on a go around, everything can work just fine. The parachutists may fly over the runway, but they won't ever be below 500 feet. Often they're about 1,000 feet, they might fly over the runway. And we can see on the Pooley's plate where the parachute drop zone is there in that little triangle just to the northwest of the 22 threshold. Now another thing to note about Dunkeswell is that there are two disused airfields, as you can see here to the east and to the northeast, a Pottery and Culm Head. And I can tell you that quite a lot of people land there by mistake, and I don't want to do that today, so that's worth noting. And there's a mast there to the southeast at 1,600 feet, which is quite high. So again, something to watch out for. Dunkeswell Radio, good morning. Golf Bravo Mike India Victor, 6 miles to the east inbound, request aerodrome information.
Golf India Victor, good morning. Runway 22 left hand, QFE 979 hectopascals.
22 left hand, QFE 979 hectopascals, Golf India Victor.
Golf India Victor, circuit traffic is a 152, last reported downwind.
Golf India Victor. Right, I see the downwind traffic.
Take my 3 turning base.
Brakes, undercarriage, down through greens. Mixture, fuel, landing light, carb heat we don't have, direction indicator is aligned and doors are locked.
Take my 3 final.
MR3, roger, surface wind 200 degrees left than 5.
Golf India Victor entering the ATZ from the east, height 1,100 feet, descending circuit height, joining left base, runway 22, traffic in sight.
Golf India Victor, roger.
Golf India Victor, final runway 22, traffic in sight.
Golf India Victor, roger, surface wind 200 degrees left than 5.
Oh, we note the displaced threshold here. Victor, active runway vacated, taxiing runway 35. A great runway there, displaced threshold that we need to be aware of, but the runway is in good condition, and I'm taxiing up the non-active runway, the unlicensed 35 now. And the taxiing is in a one-way, so we've come down that runway, we've turned right, and now we're going to turn right up this taxiway here. Should do us. Well, welcome to Dunkeswell, and let's show you around. We've just crossed over from where we parked, so that's the undershoot for runway 22 where we parked over there, and I've just literally walked around, come through the gate here, and we've got the clubhouse in front of us with a big Charlie sign. There's a little conservatory on the side here where the air ground operator sits, and then we'll go into the clubhouse here. So it's a nice sizable little clubhouse here with some little benches where you can plan your next flight if you need to, and then that's up this end of the areas where the reception desk is. This is probably where you would book in. They've got a booking in sheet here, and pay your landing fees here as well. Oh, there's something I just noticed there. They have a loyalty card. I'm seeing this pop up at airfields now and again. Free landings and coffee. You get a free drink after 3 landings, and your 6th landing free. So another incentive to come to Dunkeswell.
Coming up, I'll discover how pigeons helped in the war effort from here, why they have a funky looking box in the car park filled with repurposed Tesla batteries, and I'll sample some of the hearty winter offerings in the cafe. But first, after booking in, I met up with Charlie Salter, the Airfield and Schools Operations Manager. So, thank you for having me at Dunkeswell today.
Pleasure.
Tell me about Devon and Somerset flight training, and tell me about the aircraft you operate.
Yeah, sure. So course-wise, we offer everything from the LAPL through to the PPL and conversion between. We then, on top of that, offer night ratings, the IR restricted, TMG rating as well. And then aircraft-wise at the moment, we've got 6 Cessna 152s. These are sort of the predominant training aircraft. We've also got 3 172s. Generally, most people seem to move on to them after completing the licence. We've got the PA-28 and also the Falk motor glider.
And what is it about learning to fly here that makes it so special, do you think? I mean, what is unique about learning to fly here in Devon?
Sure, so we've just got a lot of freedom really. We're really lucky that there's not a lot of airspace around us, whereas at other airports you might be 20 or 30 minutes before you can get to a suitable training area. We can be sort of 10 minutes from airborne and you're already in the training area, which allows the student to have that maximum benefit from the lessons really. With that, obviously there's a very relaxed atmosphere here at the club, and the airfield's an air-ground communication service, so you're not sort of delayed by air traffic hold-ups. The fleet are well maintained. We try and kind of upgrade them and keep them up to date with modern technology. So yeah, there's lots of benefits really.
It's time now to talk a bit about the history of Dunkeswell, and there's a memorial here to some of the World War II forces that were based here. Now, the airfield opened in 1943, and it was initially a base for the US Army Air Force, an anti-submarine squadron. And later it became the only US naval base in Europe. And from here they go sub-hunting, U-boat hunting in the Bay of Biscay, and they depart here in the crack of dawn, really early morning, on long-range bombing missions to the Bay of Biscay. And they would fly in patterns over the sea there in search of the U-boats when they surfaced, and when they surfaced they'd bomb them. So the Heritage Centre here has a collection of more than 400 photographs and film kind of charting the history of Dunkeswell here, and there's some really interesting bits and bobs to look at. And I found out something over here that I didn't know about, and whenever I look into the history of these airfields I always learn something new. And some of the photographs here are some of the crew loading up their Liberator bombers with pigeons. And I didn't know that before every mission over the sea they would take a homing pigeon with them, and it was used in case they couldn't send a message wirelessly for fear of being intercepted, or in the event of some critical risk or danger. And they would put the pigeon in a bag head first. In fact, there's a pigeon here to sort of demonstrate this, and then drop it out of the aeroplane basically. And I don't know whether the pigeon would have ever survived the ejection from the aircraft, but in theory it would have flown back to Blighty here to tell Coastal Command what the issue was. So that was something I'd never heard of before, and they chart that story here. Now, when you come to these museums at airfields, you tend to find out that there's kind of famous connections with the base during the war. I remember going to Old Buckenham and learning about Jimmy Stewart, who was based there. And Dunkeswell has its own famous connections in the form of Joe Kennedy, the brother of the US President Kennedy. And he died on a mission that sort of started from here. They set off from here to, I think it was Norfolk, and in Norfolk they set off from there on a secret mission. And it seems extraordinary that all this time ago they were developing this. They developed a drone. They turned one of the Liberator bombers into an autonomous aircraft, but it couldn't take off on its own. So they needed 2 crew on board, I think it was, and Joe Kennedy was one of the pilots on board this bomber that took off from Norfolk. And unfortunately, when they switched the automation on, they hit the switch to set it to become a drone. as opposed to a piloted aircraft, it blew up. Now the plan had been for the crew to flick this switch, jump out of the aircraft through the nose wheel and land over England, with the bomber heading off to France on its mission, and it was going to be remotely piloted. But as I say, it blew up, and Joe Kennedy was killed. And actually there's a part of the propeller blade here from that aircraft when it crashed, I think, over Suffolk.
The Dunkeswell Heritage Centre is open Thursday to Sunday and bank holidays 11 to 4. They don't charge a fee, but they do welcome donations.
Now, I've come across something really quite exciting, because Dunkeswell is at the forefront of electric charging, both for aircraft and cars. And what we've got here is one of the first AeroVolt chargers in the country. There are a few of them dotted about now, and many more to come over the course of the next year or two. And basically it's electric charging for your aircraft. You've got like the little electric charging cable here that you would have for your car, and that would plug into your Velis Electro. And they've also got 4 car chargers as well. And that's all made possible by a really clever bit of kit here, which I think is fascinating. Very often at airfields, they're not connected to a very good connection to the national grid, the electricity grid. They often have low power connections, and that presents a problem when you're trying to charge aircraft and cars, because they take a lot of juice, right, very quickly. So AeroVolt has teamed up with this company here called Ally, and this looks like a futuristic box from Doctor Who or something, very colourful. And this is allowing airports that aren't connected to a very good connection to the grid, they don't have sufficient juice to charge the cars and the aircraft, but this box allows them to do it. And this is what's great about it. Inside here, I think, are 3 or 4 battery packs from Tesla cars. So these are repurposed electric vehicle batteries that are inside this unit here. These are Teslas that have been written off in accidents. The batteries are taken out and are repurposed as a battery storage facility. So it can sort of suck all the juice out of the national grid into these batteries when the chargers aren't being used, and then it can feed it through these electric hoses here to the cars and to the aircraft at a much higher rate than the national grid connection would allow. So it's solving a great problem, but also an environmentally forward-thinking solution as well, repurposing old batteries to solve a big problem. A fascinating and great bit of technology and innovation there.
If, like the majority of us, you're still dependent on traditional fuels, Dunkeswell serves Avgas and Jet 34. It's not self-service, and you pay for it at the clubhouse. The Airfield Cafe is called the Aviator. It's open Tuesday to Sunday, closed on Mondays.
So here we are in the cafe, and what you notice about it actually is there's a lot of seating here, and apparently it does get quite busy, especially in the summer. It's quite busy today for a winter's day. Got the menu here. I've gone for their winter warmers, which was, I think, sausage and mash with peas and carrots, which I'm quite ready for now, having been working hard out on the airfield in the cold here. Just looking at the rest of the menu, they do your sort of usual kind of English breakfasts, toasted tea cakes, sausage sandwiches, light bites. They've got various deep filled sandwiches. They've got jack potato with cheese and beans, tuna mayo, chili con carne, chips, cheesy fries, and hot drinks as well. And there's stuff on the back as well. There's a children's menu, and there's some meals here like burgers, chicken burgers. Now, if you're visiting Dunkeswell, you might be interested in touring some of the local area. I mean, that's why people come to Devon often, isn't it? As always, getting about once you've landed somewhere can be quite tricky, but actually it's not too bad here at Dunkeswell. Firstly, in terms of public transport, there is a bus that stops just outside the airfield, the number 20 bus, I think, which takes you into Honiton. Do be warned, though, that the bus service isn't as regular as you might find it maybe in southeast England. Kind of goes every couple of hours or so, but check the schedule for that. If you're looking for a taxi company, then the airfield here recommends a company in Honiton called Sparky's. And if you want a car for a weekend or whatever, they have an arrangement, I think, with a local company called To and Fro that will actually deliver cars here, which is quite handy because the bigger companies tend not to do that. This is an independent company, To and Fro. They will deliver a car here, and then, of course, you're free to go off and explore the local area, of course. At the time of publication, Dunkeswell is the 17th most visited airfield in the UK, according to Skydemon data. But with its hard runways, spacious cafe, relaxed setup and historical links, it really is worth a visit, especially if you haven't been before. So it's been a pleasure coming to Dunkeswell here, filming one of my airfield reviews. Remember that there's a full back catalogue of all the airfields that I visited on my website. There's a map so you can get some inspiration of somewhere you would like to go to. And if you're an airfield manager, would like me to come and visit your airfield, do a review to inspire pilots to come and visit you, then get in touch as well. Details on my website. I genuinely do my best to promote general aviation flying in the UK and Europe. I share my authentic adventures to inspire more of you to explore further, and most importantly, I candidly debrief my flights for the benefit of others. You're still here right to the end, so I know you appreciate my work, and from the heart, I really want to thank you for that. It's reward enough for me that you follow my travels and vlogs. Fly safely, my friends, and see you next time.